kind of the game in the first half. And as I walked into the locker room, Drew was talking to the guys about, hey, now the jitters are out of the way and now we got to play. And so we just kind of reinforced that at halftime. And I thought we came out, and certainly for that first 15 minutes of the second half, we got back to playing the way we've been playing here in this last probably month or so. And that was the difference in the game.
We have a question in the back, in the middle.
Vincent Vancepool, KCSB Sports. Question for Drew. First off, congrats on the win. I wanted to ask, you ended up finishing the game with 21 points and 6 rebounds, but can you speak a little bit about that intensity GCU gave you guys in the first half, specifically some of the defensive looks you were seeing from them?
I mean, they obviously played hard, but I think that was more on us being, like Coach said, just had some jitters. I mean, it's a big, high-pressure event, and I felt like on the whole, we were a little nervous, which is human nature. And then once the second half, we calmed down, recollected ourselves, and we're Gonzaga. We got back to what we did. But no, they played their tails off, and they're here for a reason. There's no easy game. There's no easy path. Everything's hard, and it was certainly the hard war today.
Go in the front row on the far right here.
Dave Bowling, spokesman review. You three get up there, and you're kind of going back and forth. Who had the most blocks? Mm-hmm. Julian, this 260-pound forward, is going to the rim, and you climb up there and swat him. What's going through your head?
I mean, this guy right here makes sure to let me know every day that I'm 6'7", and I got to start acting like it. So, yeah, that's what's going through my head. I'm 6'7", and I got to go up and contest these guys. And, I mean, it was a big point of emphasis all week. So, I mean, I know that I was going to hear it if I didn't do it.
And who is it that's getting on you about it?
Oh, Coach Field. Boss man.
Boss man.
We'll go second row.
Now you can see why I encourage him to do it, though, right? I mean, yeah.
Hey, Coach, Pat Graham from Associated Press. I guess how nice is it to have these three that when things maybe are going a little turbulent, they can help calm the waters? I mean, how much do you rely on that?
Tremendously. And I think what gets lost and even in a game like this is just the absolute calming influence that Anton Watson has on our team. I mean, he's the glue that holds our whole defense together, and then he, again, is always in there on offensive rebounds, getting us extra possessions. When we need a basket, he had a big floater today, and I mean, he goes for a double-double in an NCAA tournament game. So I think sometimes he gets lost, even though he's kind of quiet and unassuming. But I mean, down the stretch of this run, I think these two would agree with you. He's been our MVP.
Go on the left side on the aisle, fourth row back.
Nicholas Hodo, Arizona PBS Cronkite News. For Drew, Anton.
Whoa, that was fast. Why don't you take a breath and say it.
Whew, thank you, Coach Few.
Yeah.
Nicholas Hodo, Arizona PBS Cronkite News. For Drew, Anton, and Julian, first off, congratulations on the win. I know you've been in this opening round environment so many times, for Coach Few in particular, for the players. Did it feel any different in that first half with that GCU student section in the crowd really providing that energy for TCU or for GCU? Pardon me.
To be honest, once you get on the court and start playing, you don't really tend to notice it. But their fans did show out, and major respect to them. Kind of reminds me of our fans traveling, showing up to our games. But once you get on the court and start playing, you don't really tend to notice that too much.
And I would agree. I mean, their fan bases, I mean, watching film on them, then walking out in that arena, I mean, very, very impressive.
We'll go to the far right in the fourth row.
Okay, Coach Eddie Pels from AP. You watch film on the fans, which is very good. But my question about first round jitters, is there any, how do you coach to get ready for that, or is there anything you can even do?
I mean, you can ask these guys. I mean, we just try to stay in attack mode. I mean, that we try to be the aggressor. We try to, again, I think, especially with this group, with all that we've been through or whatever, we haven't been number one all year, so we've kind of been having to dig our way out of some things, and I think we're still just taking that approach in this NCAA tournament. I think if you watch, the luxury of playing on Friday later in the afternoon, you get to see how all these games are going. So these guys understand, these are almost like pick-em games, no matter what the number says as far as your seed. And we just talk about that. We talk about being aggressive and playing our game, and you know, I thought we did a much better job of that in the second half.
Down here on the left side, front row.
Theo Lawson from the Spokesman Review. Mark, you guys had 8 blocks today. I think that was a season high. I know it's been more of a collective effort this year without Chet. Can you just talk about the rim protection, how important that was?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I think those areas has gotten better as we've improved here in February and into March. We're rotating around better, and these guys are making plays. I think they were a little tentative earlier in the year, and now we're rotating over. And I mean, I have been on this guy. He's a terrific athlete, and when he plays like it, it's something. And I think in the NCAA tournament, they let you make plays like that. And I think it's important that we understand that. So we got to rotate over and make plays.
All right, we'll stay here on the left, second row.
Okay. Question for you, the players. Travis Green, Crimson News in Spokane. Sorry, almost didn't do that. We've seen you guys have games like this a decent amount this season. This first half kind of feeling out process, second half you guys explode. What goes into that? Is it a feeling out process for you guys?
I would just say, you know, kind of what Coach was touching on earlier, just how, you know, when we kind of get away from playing like ourselves is when we, you know, we get in those grudge matches and you know, things get frustrating for us. Like early in the first half, I feel like our offense wasn't flowing like it normally does. But I mean, once we just start playing our brand of basketball and how we know how, I mean, that's when everything opened up. You know, you see smiles on the court, you see us celebrating each other, and I mean, that's when Gonzaga basketball's at its best.
Go to the right side, in the middle.
Richard Obert, Arizona Republic. I was going to ask, Mark, what was the intent in that second half? Were you just trying to knock them off of their spots in the three-point line because they've been hitting a lot of threes and they seem to struggle a little bit there?
Well, that was actually the intent of the first half also, but we didn't do a great job of executing that. But yeah, I mean, obviously we felt like the threes had hurt us, but I just thought we weren't dictating anything on our defensive end. They were, like I said, I thought GCU came out and played with great pace and purpose, got the ball where they wanted to do, stepped up, made shots, and we just wanted to make sure that we were being a little more assertive and started dictating, you know, what they were doing on that end. And then offensively, we just wanted to get our inside game going. We were pretty passive in the first half.
Go in the front row here on the left.
Jim Mahan, Spokesman Review. Mark, the defensive effort on Harrison and McLaughlin, satisfied with that? And then maybe a thought, I know you don't know who you're going to play, but those two teams are both pretty athletic and tough.
Yeah. Hey, we won, so I'm extremely satisfied. I mean, that's what you do in this tournament, and then you just forget about it and you move on. So, and yes, man, the teams we're going to play are going to be extremely athletic, extremely explosive. I mean, I think I've watched TCU a lot this year. I think they're as good a team as there is in this tournament, especially when they're at their high end. And just talking to other coaches in the Big 12, I mean, I think they would say the same thing. I mean, you just don't see teams go into Fog Allen Fieldhouse and win by 30 or whatever they did. And so they play with great pace, and you know, they'll be a handful. But you know, we'll rest these guys up, and we've seen everything this year, and these guys have always responded. They got championship pedigree, and so and then who knows? I mean, Arizona State looked like the Warriors the other night. So, we'll just have to see what happens here.
We'll go on the right side, third row.
Yeah, Brent Bergman with the Denver Gazette. This is a little random, but during the second half, Purdue lost as the number 1 seed. They were showing that on the video board. The crowd was loudly reacting. Were you guys distracted at all by that? Were you even aware?
Nah, I mean, that's what it's been like the whole time. They always put a game on the TV, and we did come out of the timeout, and we heard people scream, and we were like, all right, something probably happened. But biggest focus, I just got the guys. I was like, eyes on the court. We don't need another circus show going on. We already got one going on right now. So, you know, Coach can attest to our focus being a little spacey at times, just a bit. And so, you know, just trying to stay as focused as we can in the moment was important to us.
We'll go on the left side on the aisle, fifth row back.
Preston Nespar, Daily Nexus. Coach Few, this upcoming game on Sunday will be your program's 13th straight appearance in the round of 32. Why do you think you've been able to have success in early round games when a good amount of high-seeded teams always seem to get upset in March Madness?
Hey, thanks for asking that. I think that's something that we take a lot of pride in. We take a ton of pride in just making this tournament, and I think that's our streak with that. I think it's probably the greatest thing we've done since during this run at GU. But yeah, these games are hard to win. I think it's the hardest thing to do in our sport is win an NCAA tournament game, and it's the players, man. They deserve all the credit. They're prepared. They're ready. They're not succumbing to maybe the pressures that come when you're not the pesky little underdog that everybody's rooting for. They don't give in to that narrative, and they fight and assert themselves and end up playing the way we should play. And I think these guys, many of them have been involved in those games, but all the ones before them have done the same thing. So they deserve all the credit.
Next question, second row on the right.
Drew Packram from Associated Press. I guess to echo off that question, do you get a chance? Can you savor these at all? Do you savor these at all, or do you just head down and how do you savor this, knowing that this might be the last time? I mean, this whole experience.
Jules?
Doesn't matter to me. I mean, it's so hard to get a win in this tournament. You can celebrate it for a couple hours, and we gotta watch this game and see who we're gonna play, then hurry around and scout the team, whether it's TCU or Arizona State. It's just everything's so high paced. The moment you get content and relax is the moment you get upset. So just maybe an hour or two, we'll celebrate, laugh, but it's straight to business after that because it doesn't get any easier from here.
We'll go online for our final question. Next question will come from Dan Tortora. Dan, your line is open.
Coach, going from, like you said, looking at the underdog side of things, I mean, Gonzaga, it's been a long time since you've been an underdog. Just what you can say about the evolution of this program and the consistency of this program.
I mean, I think it's the thing, at least that I'm the most proud of, just to be able to make this tournament. It's so hard to make this tournament. There's so many great players out there. These guys will tell you in our league and stuff that nobody knows and or doesn't know much about. And so many great coaches out there. So to make this tournament, and then obviously when you get into this thing, like I said, I think it's the hardest thing to do is earn wins in it. And it just comes down to having great players, and they buy into to what we're doing. They do a great job preparing, and they usually for the most part, I think we've played our best basketball in this time of year and during this tournament, because if you don't, you're going to get beat.
All right, that'll do it. Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thank you. Congratulations. Yes, thank you. Yep, you got it.